Let's get into medication. So our first stop is the care menu of this demonstration account. So I'm going to open up the care menu. And as you can see, there's a section just for medication. So let's go to it. Now there's a lot to talk about here, but I think the easiest way to do this is just to jump right in. And so let's create a new medication. Now I can fill out this form manually if I want to, but a lot of times the easiest thing to do is to search the NDC or National Drug Code catalog for what you want. I need a low dose aspirin, so let's search for that. And here's the one that we want. I'll say OK. And then it fills in the necessary items for this, including the NDC code right there for me. Now I can change up these instructions. And I could add further details if I want, but I think I'm good with this, so I'll submit this. And my medication is saved. So we have a medication, but that's not enough. We need to have a schedule, because for GrandCare to remind you when to take your medication, it needs to know when you're supposed to take it. So I'll just click New Schedule. And in this case, I'll select this medication is to be taken every day. And it's to be taken between, well, I don't know, 8 a.m. and maybe 11 a.m. So I'll submit this schedule, and my schedule is saved. Now, you may or may not have the need for this, but if you do, you can actually, I've got a generic little picture of this medication, and maybe I want to get a little bit more specific than that. So in this case, what I'm going to do is go to find the picture of the pill that I want. So I'll go to Google and I'll say low dose aspirin, and maybe I'll go to images. And I can look at the pills that I have and see which one is it. And that's it right there. So I can just save this image if I want to. There's my picture. And so I can just save this image to my computer, desktop perhaps, and then I can close these up. And back in my medication details, I can select to change this picture. And I'll upload the picture that I've downloaded and find my aspirin picture. There it is. And now my medication picture has been saved. And now when that medication reminder comes up, it'll actually tell you that you're supposed to take this medication right now. And it'll show you the actual picture of the pill. So let's go back. And there's my medication and my schedule. So there's a couple more things to do here, though, before we're done. Number one, I would like to know if my GrandCare touchscreen user does not take their medication. And I want GrandCare to tell me if that occurs. So I need to make a new rule for that. And I'll say if my low dose aspirin is not acknowledged as taken, which means either the refuse button has been touched on the touch screen, or no input has been added to the touch screen at all, that maybe they just ignored or didn't see the reminder. If either of those things happen, it means it is not acknowledged as taken. And so I'll say next, and then decide I want it to send a text message to me. And I can even put in an optional explanation for what I'm doing. Now here's an instance, because I'm doing a lot of these demonstrations in our development environment for the sake of the privacy of the many people who are using GrandCare on other production servers, you sometimes will see things that features that are not yet released in the official GrandCare product, and this dashboard priority item is one of those. So I'm going to ignore that for now and just finish my medication rule. Now then, I've got my medication and its schedule, and I've got my medication rule that's going to text me if it's not acknowledged as taken. My rule is on. I could toggle it off if I wish. There's one more thing that is important to do here, and that is to go up here into the options. And by default, the medication reminder sound is none. And I definitely want my medication reminder to make a sound, and so I can pick any of these that I want, but I think I'm going to choose the voice medication reminder, and that would sound like this.
Time to take your medication.
Good, I like that. So I'll submit this, and now my medication options have been updated for my preferences. Now, what does this look like on the touchscreen? Let's have a look.
Time to take your medication.
I wanted to show you one more thing about medication, so I'm going to open up the care menu again on this demo system and go to the medications area. And this time I'm actually going to delete this medication, this aspirin that we've added earlier. So I'm going to delete it. And then I wanted to tell you that sometimes there's circumstances that cause people to want to use the medication reminders in a different way. That is to say, they just want them to have a generic reminder for morning medication and maybe a generic reminder for evening medication. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is when I go to new medication, I'm just going to put morning medication and submit it. Now you'll see it doesn't let me do that, so I have to at least include a medication type. I'll say that they're pills, and I put in whatever I like to the required fields and submit it. Now that I have that medication saved, I can create a schedule for it, and I'll say that it's every day and that you should take the morning medications between 7:30 a.m. and maybe we'll say 11 a.m. and then submit it. So now we have a generic morning medication med and a schedule for it, and so we'll get our medication reminders to take morning medications. And that's what that looks like. Just wanted you to know that people sometimes use it that way for a variety of reasons, and so now you know how to do that. Well, there's one more thing to talk about with regard to medications and schedules, and that is, what if you're on site? What if you're on location at the point of care at the touchscreen, and you need to add a medication or make some change to the medication schedules? What do? Well, you can pull out your laptop and get it online and maybe go and do it the way that we've just seen, or if you're at the touchscreen, what you can do is go to the settings icon in the bottom, in the lower left, and select the medication button. And often when you do, you'd be asked for a 4-digit PIN number so that you know that only qualified caregivers are going in here to change these things and not grandchildren or other visitors in the home. So here you see you can see medications that we may have already added before. We can add a new medication, and we can search the NDC catalog if we want to, or we can do it manually if we like. I think I'll search for Synthroid, and there's the one we want, and it asked me to choose the dose, and so I'll say it's 200, and I have to select the packaging, and from then I can go to next. There's my instructions. I can add the doctor and pharmacy and so on if I like, and then I can just save my medication. Now right away it asks me for a schedule, so I can say yes, daily, and you're to take it, I don't know, it says noon, we'll try noon, between noon and 12:30. I don't know if that's when you would take that medication, but you can make it anything you like. And then I can save the schedule, and we're successful. And so now there's our new medication with its own schedule right from the touchscreen.